Hello, and welcome to my first ever episode of How Do I with Odd Realm. This episode will be how to build buildings slash houses slash whatever it is that you might need. So first you're going to want to open up your build tab, and then click on I usually start with floors. You can start with whatever you want. I'm going to make a little carpenter shop, so I'll start with floors, the floor tab. You'll have to make sure that you have enough resources in order to actually build whatever it is you're going to build. You click on it, make sure you have it selected, and then you will have to choose which layer by scrolling with the mouse wheel you want to build on. And I'm going to build in... I guess I'll build in this layer for right now. So, these green squares mean that that space is available for you to build whatever it is you want to on. And where it's red, it means you can't build. So this, if I wanted to build anywhere in here, I'd have to scroll down one more layer. If I wanted to build in here, I'd have to scroll up another layer. And then you can't build in trees, as far as I'm aware. So you click and drag to select an area. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than that because it's going to be a carpenter shop. And in this little box that pops up at the corner of my mouse is what size of area it's going to take up, which skill it uses with that little hammer icon. That means it's a woodworker skill or a carpenter skill. And then, well, I guess it could be, yeah, it's a carpenter skill. So then it shows you how much of the material it's going to use up. And then it also shows you what's currently there. So the coordinates, what piece of land it is, and then with the new temperature update, what temperature the land is. So let go of the mouse, and then it places the blueprint, which will flash blue when you have enough materials, and it'll flash red when you don't. So I'll unpause, and my people will start building that area. And now, since I don't have as many materials as I'd like, I need people to continue collecting wood. So I'll have that going. Alright, and now that part of the wall is done, or part of the floor is done, I can build a wall over top of it. So I'll use oak plank walls so that everything is succinctly wood. And I usually like to have only one block for a door. I don't like to do double doors. Sometimes they don't work quite properly. So I'll have my doors be north and south. And you can see through here, as I'm using up materials, it starts to red out some of these boxes, which means that I just can't build it. So I'll let them build that. Now that they've gotten those walls done, I want to fill in these walls. And I'm going to go to the Doors tab and select a wood door and put this over top of these two empty spaces. And then, because it's going to be a carpenter shop, since I know almost by heart now what the carpenter shop, or the... I don't remember, workshop I believe is what it calls it. I know pretty much by heart now what it takes. So I know that I need a carpenter's table, a stool, or a seat, not a stool, sorry, two different things. A seat. So I'll put that right by the carpenter's table, and then I'm going to go into the utilities tab, and just for aesthetics I'm going to rotate it to look like it's actually facing the table. And I also need... It's easier to find it in the Containers tab. I also need a cabinet. And it can be either... Any of these materials that go in here can be either made of wood or stone. They both work. So I'm going to build 2 cabinets there, since I have enough materials. And I'll unpause and let them get to work. And now for the final... Well, I guess you could call it the final part, which is to build a roof. So you go up a layer, up on top of the walls, you want to make sure that you can see the blocks of the wall so that you know you're on the right layer. I don't know if I'm going to have enough wood for this. There we go. Alright. So now I have enough wood. So I'm going to click and drag. But if you don't hold down the Alt key, it won't cover that area that is open. It'll only put the roofs on the walls. It won't put them over that open space. So you need to hold down the Alt key. And that will make all these boxes turn black. And that means that you're building over thin air. And that's what we want, because we want to have the roof over top of the empty space there and over top of the doors, which also show up as empty space. So I will release my left click and then also release Alt, and it will have a blueprint area for roofs. So all my people are gonna go and build the roof tiles there. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to put a torch in here because it's kind of dark. And also torches help with heating. And I'm going to make that higher priority so that the inside here is finished. So somebody will build that first, rather than work on the ceiling. Alright, looks like my people are finishing up here. And... he just collapsed of exhaustion. Alright, and there we go. We have a building. So this is going to be a workshop. So the last thing you have to do to designate a building for what it is that you want it to do, you have to go into the Rooms tab and pick whatever it is that you want your building to be for, which in my case is a workshop. I have all the props. It'll tell you the prop requirements up here. And I'm going to place it. And it tells me that in this area I have the prop requirements, which means that it will immediately become usable as a workshop. And now it is one. And you can see with this little overlay where the rooms are already designated to be. So if you ever want to put a room down but it might intersect with somewhere, you can see where it'll end up intersecting with. And whichever room you place last, so say I want, just for the sake of showing you, I want to put a foundry here. It will turn the last space that you highlighted over top of the original room. It will turn that into the new room. It will overwrite it. So I don't want a foundry. If you want to undo rooms, you right-click and drag for areas. Want that to be a workshop again. That way, this whole area, oh, that's... never seen that bug before, but okay. So, alright. We have a workshop now, and since I just made it and I haven't unpaused yet, it says it's empty, but as soon as I unpause, we see that 2 people have populated the workshop. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll stand around in there all day, it just means that they can work in the workshop. They're the only people that are able to. Alright, and that was my first episode of How Do I in Odd Realm on how to build buildings. So thank you for watching, I hope this has helped, and I will see you in